For a long time, the sector's talked about needing to understand more around the perception in the wider marketplace, both from consumers, from people that are buying products, that are needing to use it to understand how best to promote the sector. A lot's been talked about it, not a lot's necessarily being done. So the reason the printing charity wanted to get involved in this was it was a way to collaborate with other organisations, particularly organisations that were looking to understand more around what is it that's driving perception of this sector. The better you understand something, the more you can then respond to any of the challenges that it might be facing.
The goal of a new narrative print is to act on the results of an ongoing national research project, which is being carried out by one of the globe's most advanced research agencies, utilising groundbreaking digital data acquisition and analysis technology. The project's aim is to build an accurate and detailed picture of how our industry is truly perceived by consumers and key print buying markets across a range of critical metrics, from sustainability and employment opportunities through to print's relevance and effectiveness as a marketing and communications medium. Equipped with this knowledge, and most importantly, an understanding of which key stakeholders are driving that perception, the IPIA and its partners will develop a communications and engagement strategy that resets the narrative around print in the UK.
Parts of the sector are seen still as being wasteful and not in the way that we know it to be, which is it's a leader in the circular economy. It's a leader in so many different areas. But the research allows just to be able to identify some of those areas. The challenge now, as it always was going to be, is how do you then inform those people that are already positive about the sector, but inform them about some of the other things they maybe aren't aware of that could actually add and amplify to that positivity, but also consider some of the negatives and how do we change some of that perception around that. And that really is by amplifying the positives, putting this information in the hands of the right people that we've now identified through the research. It's an opportunity now to actually have a conversation with those individuals about the extra things that we're doing to help them to help us amplify the positives. We've got the building blocks in place now. We've put some work in to understand the perception. We've looked at some of the gaps and also some of the voices, those really positive voices, whether it's the effectiveness of it for brands, for organisations that ought to be using print more broadly, whether it's for younger people choosing it as a career opportunity to come into. Each individual that's been identified, they will be working in a different way to each other. So how do we have a proper conversation with them? What is the brand that we want to actually put into their minds about the sector? What is it that it's the strongest parts of the sector, the bits that they maybe aren't aware of? So our challenge is about understanding of those individuals now we know that they exist, and providing materials and having a dialogue with them. And it's not just us as the printing charity or even just the collaborators for this research. It's about the sector as a whole. And I think one of the brilliant things about the research, and hats off to the RPIA for getting all of this going, is that the whole industry can benefit from this. It's not just one organisation trying to do one thing, it's lots of organisations. We want people to champion it, not just ourselves. Yes, we do need to challenge some of those perceptions about the negatives, but my word, we have more positives to say about what this sector does than many other sectors, to be honest. And so we should be really proud of that. The work that Medano did is in a really good place. Thousands of data points to actually get us to a point of understanding what the conversations were, honing that down, getting to what is the core message, what is it that is the most positive aspect to this sector. And it's something that a new narrative of print is going to build on. And it's about the fact that print makes things happen. And that's such a powerful message. It's a message that we know people aren't necessarily connecting into. Whether you're a brand owner, whether you're an agency, whatever you're thinking about, print can make things happen. And it's not about just print, it's about integrated communications. It's about the power of things together, not just trying to fight our corner on our own. The next step is bringing that to life in a cohesive way that will have impact. One of the areas we've been really keen to look at is to understand more fully the idea of the sector as a place to build a career for young people coming into the sector. Our very own Rising Stars Awards every year shows us the talent that is in our sector, the enthusiasm, but also the breadth and depth of career opportunities, highly technical to highly creative to, everything in between. So for us, part of the research was also about making sure we could understand a little bit more about what are the levers we need to pull to be able to get more young people to take note of this sector. This is about using this knowledge to be able to help other organisations in our sector to encourage young people to consider working in the sector. Looking at the influencer list as well that's come from the Madano research, there are younger people on there that also should be brilliant ambassadors for other young people considering this sector as a place to start a career, but also to flourish and to grow within that chosen career. And one thing we know for sure, this sector continues to change. It always has and always will. It innovates. That means opportunity. It does also bring challenges, absolutely, but it means opportunity. And I think for us, getting involved in this research has allowed us to be able to also add that to one of the things that we want to achieve, which is more knowledge around how to bring younger people into the sector too. The Printing Charity's ultimate aim has always been getting into the heart of organisations, into the sector, to understand how it can flourish, but also to understand how best to support the people working in it, those that currently working in it or have worked in it as well. And our mission really is both to support people when they are facing challenges, the big and the small challenges, but also to champion the sector for those people choosing it as a place to start building a career. Everything we do from the Rising Stars Awards, which are the single biggest awards for young people in the sector, which helps celebrate and support young people in their chosen career, through to the grants programs, through to our helpline. At the very heart of that is being able to connect to people when they need us. Research like this helps us to understand that sector, to understand how best the sector can flourish, can grow, can move on, because we are integrally linked into that sector. We have been for nearly 200 years, will continue to be in the future. We want a thriving sector. A thriving sector means good places for people to work. It means it has a future. It also means we will be still here in the future to be able to support all the things that are needed for people working in that sector too. Even thriving businesses have challenges, and we're always here for that too. So there's been a really wonderful opportunity for us through this research to be able to get involved both in that knowledge building, understanding what's out there, but to really align very clearly with our aims, which is we want to be there to support the sector, a thriving sector, but the sector itself needs to understand itself better to be able to make sure that it can protect itself for the future. We will always be here for it, and we want to continue with these sorts of initiatives. This is sort of the first stage of keeping our awareness and our knowledge of what's happening in the sector to the fore, and there'll be other stages moving forward, I'm sure, of which we would very much like to be part.